You're not rich yet, not because you're not smart enough, not because you weren't born into wealth, and definitely not because the system is broken. You're not rich yet because deep down you haven't made the decision, not the wish, not the daydream, the decision. And there is a brutal difference. Every empire begins in the mind, not in the bank, not in the stock market, not in a trust fund or some course, but in the unshakable furnace of desire, so white hot, so immovable that the world bends in its presence. If you think wealth comes to those who wait, think again. If you believe success is a matter of luck or fate, shut that door now, because this message is only for those who are finally, painfully, ready to hear the raw, burning, uncomfortable truth. You are where you are because of what you tolerate, what you accept, what you repeat. And if you're not rich yet, it's because you haven't yet become the version of yourself who refuses anything less. Let me ask you something. When did you decide what you were worth? Was it when you were 8 and someone told you that dreams don't pay bills? Was it when a teacher said you weren't gifted? Was it when you failed once and decided never to try like that again? Because I promise you, every limitation you live under now started in your mind, and no chain bites harder than the one you forged yourself. Most people don't live in poverty. They live in mental poverty. They budget their dreams. They discount their ambition. They negotiate with fear like it's a creditor they owe. They scroll. They react. They obey. But let me be brutally clear. The world doesn't pay you for being average. It pays you for being irreplaceable. And if you don't think like the rich, if you don't breathe like them, suffer like them, obsess like them, you will always watch wealth from the outside with your face pressed up against the glass. You don't attract money, you attract according to your identity. People say, believe in yourself, like it's some soft, cliche phrase. No, it's the law. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. What he didn't say was that both men live in the same body. One voice says you can, the other says you're not ready, and wealth only listens to the one you feed. You see a billionaire and you think they're lucky. You don't see the years of ridicule, the failed products, the nights crying behind locked office doors, the decades of invisible struggle. You see the mansion. You don't see the identity it required. Rich people don't make money because they have better ideas. They make money because they've given themselves permission to believe at levels the average mind would call delusional. When Andrew Carnegie laid steel across America, when Edison lit up the world with a bulb no one believed in, when Oprah rose from poverty to command global attention, they weren't just chasing a vision, they were becoming someone wealth could trust. And until your belief becomes a command, not a hope, you will always hustle beneath your potential. You want to be rich? Good, but what does that even mean? Most people chase money the way children chase butterflies. They run around in circles, waving their arms, hoping to grab something that keeps floating away. Not you, because the rich are snipers. They have clarity sharper than diamond. They don't work for more, they work for exact impact, exact income, exact legacy. Clarity isn't some feel-good buzzword, it's a weapon, it's a filter. When you know exactly what you want, you instantly know what to say no to. No to distractions, no to excuses, no to the endless detours that the broke call opportunities. Disney had one vision, the happiest place on earth. He was told it was foolish, impossible, childish. But when your vision is clear, rejection doesn't sting, it motivates, it confirms you're onto something they can't yet see. Ask yourself, are you clear or are you just curious? Because clarity kills confusion, and the confused mind doesn't act, it waits, and waiting is a disease. There's a level of success you haven't reached yet, not because you're incapable, but because you haven't dared to see it clearly. Vision is the ability to hold a picture in your mind so vividly that it starts pulling the future toward you. Think of Thomas Edison. 10,000 failures, 10,000 prototypes. People called him mad. But he didn't see darkness. He saw a world lit up, and he held that vision long enough for reality to catch up. The rich see the invisible and make it visible. The average wait to see it first. Your bank account is just a report card of your vision. If it's small, your vision is too. If it's empty, your belief is leaking. If it's stagnant, your discipline is asleep. So let me be surgical in this moment. If your life was a canvas, what masterpiece are you painting? What empire are you building? Because if you can't see it, neither can anyone else. And no one funds the blind. You will never outwork a man on a mission. You will never outperform someone who's fueled by purpose instead of profit. The rich don't chase money, they chase impact. And the irony? Money chases them. Purpose is the richest currency on earth. It outlasts recessions. It overcomes failure. It revives you when everything else is dried up. Carnegie built libraries, not just fortunes. Jobs gave you a pocket computer, not just sleek hardware. Tesla gave you energy independence, not just a car. And every one of them was obsessed with a purpose bigger than the pain. So here's the real test. When it gets hard, and it will, when you're broke, exhausted, mocked, and bleeding, will you still move? Because if you're only chasing cash, you'll stop. But if you're chasing purpose, you'll become unstoppable. Discipline is the language the universe respects, not talent, not vibes, not wishes. Discipline. You don't become wealthy by working when you feel like it. You become wealthy by becoming a machine when no one's watching. Lincoln studied law by candlelight after 14-hour days. Bezos built Amazon from a garage, packing boxes himself. You think you're tired? They were possessed. Discipline is doing what must be done, especially when the feeling is gone. It's writing when uninspired, selling when rejected, building when others rest. You say you want to be rich, then earn the right to repeat what works. The man who wins is not the one who starts hardest, it's the one who stays consistent the longest. Every habit you maintain is either a brick in your empire or a crack in your foundation. Every dreamer eventually meets a fork in the road, the moment where imagination must become movement. And in that moment, most people die, not physically, but mentally, because they never act. Action is the great separator. It's the difference between those who speak about success and those who build it brick by brutal brick. You say you want millions? Then prove it. Not with posts, not with plans, but with sweat, sacrifice, and scars. Walt Disney didn't draw Mickey Mouse and then wait. He mortgaged his house. He sold his possessions. He bet everything on a mouse the world laughed at. You still worried what your friends think? They're not building your empire. They're just watching it rise or fall. Action is the voice of belief. The louder your action, the clearer your belief. Talk all you want, but until your feet move, your life doesn't. The rich act fast. They make decisions. They fail, adjust, repeat, fast. The poor hesitate. They think. They ask around. They wait for certainty and die with regret. You will never feel ready. You will never have enough information. The stars will not align. You either leap now or forever live as a spectator, but listen closely, because here's the paradox. The richest souls are not the ones who want more. They're the ones who are deeply grateful for what they already have. Gratitude is not passivity, it's power. It doesn't mean you're satisfied. It means you are aligned with the truth that abundance already surrounds you. Every time you whine, you repel wealth. Every complaint is a declaration to the universe. I am not ready. But every ounce of gratitude, it's a signal flare. It tells the universe, I see it, I respect it, I'm ready for more. Rockefeller gave thanks when he had pennies. So did Ford when he had nothing but car parts on a dirt floor, because gratitude doesn't. Wait for success. It invites it. When you start treating your $100 like it's $1 million, when you honor your time like it's sacred, when you value your ideas like they're gold. That's when wealth starts to respond. You don't get rich by demanding more. You get rich by becoming magnetic to more. And gratitude is magnetic. Do you know the most expensive sentence in the world? But this is how I've always done it. The graveyards of business, success, and dreams are filled with people who refuse to adapt. The rich don't marry methods. They marry outcomes. The moment the strategy fails, they pivot. They don't panic. They don't cry. They evolve. Netflix killed Blockbuster not with better movies, but with better adaptability. Tesla disrupted the auto industry not with new wheels, but with a new mindset. You still clinging to your old ways, your old identity, your old excuses? That's why you're broke. The economy will change. Technology will change. Trends, attention spans, markets, all of it will shift like sand in the wind. But you either become water or you become irrelevant. The rich study patterns, not opinions. They move where attention flows. They listen, adapt, and conquer. So if you're stubborn about your methods, prepare to be poor, because adaptability is currency now, and at some point everything will go wrong. Your product will flop, the deal will fall through, someone will betray you, you'll lose money, lose people, lose sleep. And in that moment when the floor disappears and everything screams quit, your resilience is all you've got. You see, wealth is not for the soft, it's for the ones who can take hit after hit after hit and still move forward like they're carrying fire on their back. Lincoln failed in business, lost 8 elections, had a nervous breakdown, and then became the president who held a nation together. Why? Because he refused to be defined by defeat. Resilience isn't just bouncing back, it's bouncing forward. Stronger, smarter, more unshakable than before. The man who becomes rich is not the one who never fell. It's the one who fell 1,000 times and stood up 1,001. And you? What will you do when the world says no? Will you retreat, or will you become something the world cannot ignore? Every master was once a beginner. Every tycoon was once clueless. Every billionaire once asked, how does this work? But the difference, they never stopped learning. While most people chase dopamine, the wealthy chase understanding. While others binge shows, they binge books. While others repeat yesterday, they invent tomorrow. You think education ends after school? That's why you're stuck. Knowledge is capital. Insight is leverage. Execution is power. Think of Elon Musk. He taught himself rocket science. While others were waiting for answers, he became the answer. If you're not reading, you're regressing. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. And if you're not relentlessly sharpening your edge, you're getting dull. And someone sharper is replacing you. Wealth comes to those who are obsessed with knowing more. Not for ego, but for elevation. Because the more you understand, the more dots you connect. The more dots you connect, the more opportunities you see. And the more opportunities you act on, the richer you become. Simple, yes, easy, never. But here's the catch, Ty. The information is out there. The question is, are you willing to become the kind of person who absorbs it like oxygen? Want to know what's really shaping your future? It's not your willpower, it's not your talent, it's your environment, your friends, your apps, your room, your routines. They're building you every single second, or they're breaking you. If you hang around 5 broke people, guess who's number 6? If you're surrounded by complainers, you'll become fluent in excuses. If you're immersed in noise, you'll never hear your own greatness. Carnegie built a mastermind group. Ford, Edison, and Firestone, titans of industry, met regularly, not to gossip, but to sharpen, challenge, and elevate each other. Who do you sit with? Who sharpens you? Because the rich don't just guard their money, they ferociously guard their energy. They curate their space. They block toxic influence. They cultivate environments that force them to rise. Want to get rich? Change your ecosystem. There comes a moment, seen not on the outside but inside, when something changes, when the excuses collapse, when the stories burn, when the fog clears and you finally say, enough. Enough waiting, enough watching others live the life you want, enough tolerating less than what you know you were born for. This isn't about money anymore. It's about alignment. It's about becoming a person who cannot breathe unless they are building something legendary. The brutal truth, most people want to be rich, but they're not willing to pay the price of transformation. They want the outcome, but not the sacrifice, not the sleepless nights, not the lonely seasons, not the insane standards that scare small minds away, but the ones who make it, the real ones. They are possessed. They are surgical. They are relentless, not just in effort, but in identity. They don't dabble. They declare, this is who I am now. And when you do that, when you decide at a cellular level that the old you is dead, that there is no plan B, no exit strategy, no soft landing, that's when the universe begins to rearrange. That's when people notice. That's when doors open that you didn't even knock on, not because you're lucky, but because your frequency changed. You became a match for success, not just a beggar at its gates. The world whispers balance, but every empire was built in imbalance. Bezos didn't build Amazon from 9 to 5. Jordan didn't master the game by taking weekends off. Michelangelo didn't paint the Sistine Chapel in moderation. Greatness requires obsession, not the toxic kind that destroys you, but the divine kind that ignites you, the kind that replaces distraction with discipline, comfort with calling, mediocrity with mission. You think you need more time? No, you need more fire, because when you're obsessed, you don't find time. You devour it. You don't chase balance, you chase alignment, where everything in your life orbits around one blazing star, your vision. And if you're not obsessed yet, you haven't made it real enough. You haven't stared at it long enough. You haven't held it in your chest until it aches, so go deeper, see it clearer, feel it sharper. Because the moment you fall in love with your vision more than your excuses, you become dangerous. If there is one final door that guards all wealth, it is this: ownership. Not of a company, not of land or assets, ownership of your life until you take 100% responsibility for everything, your thoughts, your choices, your results. You are renting your existence. But when you own it, when you stop blaming your parents, the system, the market, your past, you become free, and freedom, that's the real wealth. Because here's the last secret most never learn. You don't chase wealth, you become it. It's not out there. It's not later. It's not after the next degree or the promotion or the new idea. It's now. It's in the decision you make this second to rise, to burn, to evolve, to kill the version of you that tolerates small thinking, cheap living, and average outcomes, and to step into the only identity that ever created anything worth remembering: a builder, a warrior, a fire starter, a king, a queen. You're not broke, you're not unlucky, you're not stuck, you are uncommitted, but not anymore. Now you know the price, now you see the game. Now the veil is lifted and you can't go back. You either go all in, or you spend the rest of your life watching those who did. You either build the thing or you envy the ones who had the nerve to try. You either become who you were born to be, or you die buried under versions of yourself that never got the chance. So here's the only question that matters. What are you choosing right now, not tomorrow, not next month, right now? Will you keep scrolling, or will you start scripting your destiny? Will you keep waiting, or will you strike the hammer while your soul is still on fire? Because this isn't just about wealth, it's about war. A war between who you are and who you could be. So choose, rise, and become the legend you were always meant to be. Not someday, today.